In the immense reaches of our solar system, the James Webb Space Telescope has witnessed something extraordinary. Stationed nearly 1,000,000 miles from Earth at the stable Lagrange point 2, this technological marvel has been scanning the heavens, not only peering into the birth of the earliest galaxies, but also surveying the closer, older remnants of our own system's formation. During what began as a routine observation, Webb turned its gaze toward the asteroid belt, a crowded region between Mars and Jupiter filled with fragments of rock and metal, relics from the dawn of planetary creation. But among the familiar signals of asteroids and comets, its instruments recorded something entirely unexpected, a faint, fast-moving object, uncatalogued and unlike anything in existing records. This was no ordinary piece of debris. It was moving at a velocity greater than typical asteroids, glowing faintly not from reflected sunlight but from a strange internal luminescence. Spectroscopy revealed surfaces with unusual characteristics, materials not normally associated with natural celestial bodies. Even more unsettling, the object did not drift chaotically. Instead, it maneuvered with peculiar precision, briefly accelerating, then decelerating, weaving through the asteroid belt as if deliberately avoiding obstacles. As it neared Vesta, the second largest body in the belt, it did something astonishing. It stopped. For several minutes, the object held its position, spinning slowly in a steady, controlled rotation, almost as though it were scanning its surroundings. No known natural mechanism explained this kind of pause. Telescopes on Earth were redirected in haste, but their view lacked the clarity of Webb's instruments. Still, the conclusion was inescapable: this was no ordinary asteroid. Thermal readings showed internal heat levels inconsistent with frozen comets or rocky metallic objects. Even stranger, Webb detected bursts of structured energy, pulses at intervals too deliberate to dismiss as noise. The signals weren't perfectly regular, but they carried a pattern, like the rhythm of something encoded. When the object resumed motion, it shifted course slightly, skimming near Mars's orbit before climbing above the plane of the solar system's planets. Such a maneuver would demand tremendous energy no natural fragment should possess. By then, speculation spread through scientific circles. Was it an exotic type of comet? A relic from a forgotten probe? Or something far more profound? Engineers pushed Webb beyond its intended limits, recalibrating it to track the speeding object. Additional data deepened the mystery. Spectral scans revealed compounds resembling synthetic polymers, along with emissions far outside the expectations for a natural rock. The composition seemed layered, structured, more like an engineered object than a product of geology. And then, as it approached the outer edges of the asteroid belt, Webb captured one last unsettling detail. A faint flash of energy from its rear, not the fiery plume of chemical propulsion, but a directed burst with no thermal exhaust. It was propulsion, but of a kind we have never seen. The event sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The asteroid belt, thought to be well mapped and predictable, had concealed a visitor no one anticipated. Its ability to stop, change course, and emit patterned signals challenged everything we know about natural motion in space. If it was artificial, then its silence and precision suggested reconnaissance, not contact. If natural, then it hinted at processes so advanced they bordered on intelligence. Unlike comets, this strange visitor left behind no glowing tail of gas or dust. Unlike Oumuamua, it did not tumble chaotically through the void, nor rely on the faint push of sunlight to alter its path. Instead, its journey was marked by silence, grace, and precision. Every change in velocity, every deviation in trajectory, carried with it the unmistakable impression of intention. It was not drifting. It was moving with purpose. The signals it released only deepened the enigma. They were not random bursts of radiation, but layered harmonics, tones nested within one another, transmitting across multiple frequencies at once. To the untrained ear, they might have seemed like faint static. But to scientists, they resembled something closer to the mathematical structure of information itself. The rhythm hinted at design. The question, however, was chilling. Who, or what, were these signals meant for? In laboratories and observatories around the world, researchers scrambled to decode the data. Astronomers analyzed the trajectory. Propulsion experts studied the energy pulses, searching for propulsion methods beyond chemical rockets or ion drives. Material scientists dissected Webb spectroscopic readings, stunned by hints of compounds resembling engineered polymers. And philosophers, too, entered the discussion, asking not just what the object was, but why it had come, and what its silence might mean. Every angle of inquiry pointed toward the same haunting possibility. Humanity may have glimpsed something passing through our solar system that was never intended to be seen. A traveler that came not to announce itself, but only to watch, like a reconnaissance probe slipping quietly through familiar space before vanishing again into the unknown. As days passed, the object continued on its trajectory, cutting cleanly above the planetary plane. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone, disappearing into the deeper dark, leaving Webb's instruments with nothing more to record. No fragments. No lingering signals. No final sign of what it had been. Only the faint afterglow of data, captured in brief moments that may take decades to fully understand. But its fleeting passage left behind something far greater than physical evidence. It marked a boundary in human knowledge. For the first time, we recorded an object that fit into no category of the natural universe as we know it. Not comet, not asteroid, not interstellar rock. Something other. Something outside the expected. This is where the true implications unfold. If the object was natural, then we have encountered a phenomenon unlike anything seen before. An entirely new class of celestial body, governed by processes beyond our models of physics. If it was artificial, then it means that intelligence exists elsewhere, and that its creations are capable of navigating the gulfs of space undetected until they choose otherwise. Either way, one truth is unavoidable: we were not ready. Our telescopes, our instruments, even our imagination struggled to keep up with what Webb recorded. It slipped past us quietly, without fanfare, without conflict, without even leaving a trace behind. And yet, its very existence shattered our assumptions about the security and solitude of our cosmic neighborhood. Because perhaps the silence of space is not silence at all. Perhaps it is filled with messages, travelers, and watchers that we have simply not yet learned to hear. The next time such a visitor arrives, humanity must be prepared. Not with fear, but with curiosity, with vigilance, and with the humility to accept that we are not alone in the great dark. Until then, we continue to look outward. We continue to listen. Because the universe has already spoken, and it may not be finished.